Hello students, I am Aniket Kirsch and we are in part A, employability skills, and of this first unit 1, that is communication skills, we have already completed up to session 5, session 1, session 2, session 3, session 4 and session 5. From today onwards we are going to start this session 6, right? So let's see what all things are given in this. Session 6, pronunciation basics. Let's see. If we do not say or pronounce words correctly, others cannot understand what we are saying, as in the example shown in the figure. So, pronunciation, in pronunciation, what happens? Whatever words we are using is very important. If we will, not pronounce the words correctly or exactly, so what happens? The meaning can be changed, or the person who is listening will not understand what you are trying to say, right? So in this communication, in this figure, you can see how far is the station, how far is this station, what is this station, the place from where we get a train. Oh, the station is just 5 minutes away, keep walking straight and you will find it. So in this, the boy is pronouncing is a station, not in a proper way. So the girl is unable to understand it properly. So that's why whatever you are saying should be very clear and pronunciation should be exact. In this lesson, you will learn about the common sounds used while speaking in English. You will learn and practice how to say common words correctly. Pronunciation is the way you say a word, just as spelling is how you write a word, right? To communicate well when you speak, you need to know how to pronounce words correctly. Correct pronunciation will help you express your ideas and feelings, right? Even express yourself in a clear and confident manner. It will also help others to understand your words correctly, right? Now, speaking correctly. Say the following words aloud. Ask your teacher and friends if you pronounce them correctly. Your, world, chair, where, right? Also try saying these words aloud. Sun, see the pronunciation. Sail, tail, right? Little bit difference is there. Now, what did you notice? Sometimes words which have similar spelling are pronounced differently. Sometimes words which have different spellings may be pronounced in the same way, right? The best way to learn correct pronunciation of words is to listen carefully. You have to listen with the meaning of the sentence. If you will try to understand the meaning of the sentence, then also you can understand what spellings are different, but pronunciation is same. So let's talk about phonetics. So how do you pronounce words? We use sounds to speak. Every word is made up of one or more sounds, right? Phonetic is the study of sounds that we make when we speak. For example, the word dog is made up of 3 sounds put together. D-O-G. Speak the word aloud as shown in the Hindi to help you pronounce it correctly. Dog, right? The word cat is made up of 3 sounds. Cat. Speak C-A-T. Speak the word aloud as shown in the Hindi to help you pronounce it correctly. Cat. The English alphabet has 26 letters from A to Z, but each of these letters can be pronounced in a different way, in different words. We use 26 letters to write in English, but we use more than 26 sounds when we speak English. This is why a word's spelling does not always match its pronunciation. Understood? Let us take an example. Let us take a letter A. For example, read the words cat, apple and back. So pronunciation in Hindi, pronunciation of the letter A, cat, apple, back, like this, okay? Now, so let's see. Car, fast and park. So the pronunciation you can see car, fast, park, right? Call, ball, saw. Call, ball, saw, right? So how you are pronouncing using these words, you can in pronunciation in Hindi, how to pronounce it in English, you can see from the here. You can even you can search on internet how to how you can improve yourself value, how to improve your pronunciation and all, right? Now pay attention to the sound of each word while listening. You will be able to pronounce it correctly. Okay. Now types of sounds. We have now seen how the letters of alphabet are not enough to exactly match the many different sounds we make when we speak. Let us take a closer look at the sounds we use. All the English words are made up of three basic types of sounds. Let's see what all are they. Different sounds in English. So in this chart, in this table you can see vowels. In these vowels, diphthongs, combination of sound of two vowels, and consonants, right? So everything is made up of this vowel, consonant, and diphthongs. Diphthongs means combination sound of two vowels. So vowels, what are vowels? A, E, I, O, U, you know. And other than that, everything is consonants, right? The English alphabet has 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U, but 12 vowel sounds, right? This means most vowels can be pronounced in different ways. We make a vowel sound when we read a vowel in a word, right? Now, diphthong, we make a diphthong sound when we combine two vowels. Diphthong starts as one vowel sound and go to another. Now, a consonant sound is any sound that is neither a vowel nor a diphthong. Okay? For example, we pronounce the letter I in the word bit. By using a vowel sound, the Hindi is bit. For example, the sound OU is for the word house is a diphthong in a combination. In Hindi, it is house. For example, we use consonant sounds to say the letter P and T in the word pot. In Hindi, it is pot. So, like this, you will have to learn or see these different sounds of how to use this sounds, different sounds. Now some more examples in this. Say this words aloud given in this Hindi pronunciation. Okay, long, sleep, keep, short, sleep, short, book, long. So all these things you can practice. Consonant sounds also. Okay. On the basis of this, you have to make mastery over the pronunciation. So, not 2 questions will be raised from this chapter as it is pronunciation based. But then also, you have to read it carefully and you will, attempt the exercise in a proper way. After this, let's see session 7, greeting and introductions. Greeting and introductions. We use certain words called greetings before we start talking to friends. Yes? People familiar to us, okay, or people whom we are meeting for the first time. Also, we use certain sentences to tell about ourselves or others to people who do not know us. This is called an introduction. Whenever you meet to the persons whom you are familiar with, so you greet them, right? And when you meet any persons to whom you don't know, you introduce yourself, right? So let's see what all things are given in this chapter. Greeting. There are many ways to greet a person. The greeting and reply to a greeting at work is different from the greeting and reply given to a friend. When you greet your friend, hi, you say hi, right? And when you greet your teachers, you say good morning, good evening, like this, right? So similarly, there are many ways to say goodbye when you depart. The greetings change depending upon who we are talking to and even according to the time of the day, like good morning, good evening, good night, like this. Help us to start a conversation nicely. Okay. Types of greeting. There are 2 ways of greeting as shown in the figure. Say the greeting below aloud. Formal greetings. Formal greetings means in offices and all, we greet in a formal way, right? So, formal greetings. What is formal greeting? Formal greetings are used if you do not know the person. It is used to greet seniors, elderly people, or people with whom we have formal relations like teacher, customers. This is used more often in school, colleges, offices, right? This is formal. If you are talking to a senior or post-wise senior or age-wise senior, you give respect to them, right? So greeting them is a different. It is a official, or we can say formal way of greeting. So now formal and informal greetings. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, right? Hi, hey, what's up, what's going on? This is a informal greeting which you do with your friends, right? Say aloud the formal greetings and replies given in the good morning everybody. Reply will be good morning ma'am, good morning sir. This is formal greeting, right? And informal greetings are used when you talk to your friends, familiar and known person, like hey, hello, hi, what are you doing? I am doing great. Hi, I am doing great, right? Good to meet you. All these are what? These are kinds of informal greeting. We can also greet people according to the time of the day when we meet them, like good morning, good evening, like this, है ना? See, in this table you can see from early morning to 11:59 a.m. good morning, and after that 12 to 5 p.m. good afternoon, and after that good evening. Okay, after 5. Now, introducing yourself. When you are meeting someone for the first time, or if others wants to know about you, you need to introduce yourself. You can do this by telling your name and some general information like about your hometown or your job, your subject as a student, your interest, etc. When you introduce yourself, remember to look at the other persons and smile. Right? You have to look at the other person and smile. This will show your confidence. It will, it will be effective communication. Some examples are: I am Aman, I am Rahul from Agra. My name is Tina and I am in class 8. Hi, I am Anu, I am like cricket. Like this, confidently you have to introduce yourself. The main, thing in effective communication is your pronunciation should be clear, eye contact should be, your personality, your, confidence level, everything matters, right? Everything matters a lot. We can introduce someone to others by telling their name, what they do, how we know them, or even by describing something interesting about them. One example is, we can even introduce others. This is my friend Sonu. We study in the same class. She is a good singer. Like this also we introduce. We introduce others also, right? So here ends this session, this chapter, right? So this is small sessions are there, right? So you can even 4 to 5 sessions you can read in one day only, and it is very, part is just a kind of this thing only. You will learn day-to-day communication and all, and general things which which will develop your communication effectively, the way of thinking, basic things you will understand in this part, employability skills. So first is communication skills. So just you must have a clear view of the terminologies, what all contents are there in the first part, okay, part A, and attempt this exercise. Okay, now let's talk about session 8, talking about self. Okay, so you may need to talk about yourself on many occasions, especially when you meet new people. You may also need to fill form with information about yourself. In this session you will learn how to describe or introduce yourself or write about yourself, right? Okay, talking about yourself. When you meet someone for the first time, they may want to know more about you. You will need to introduce yourself by telling them about yourself. Okay, my name is Amit. I study in class 9th. I don't like maths. I like history. Like this you introduce. When you meet someone for the first time, you introduce yourself, right? You usually starts by telling your name, then you can talk about other things such as what you do, your age, where do you live, or even about the things or activities that you like or dislike. Right? For all these sentences you will use noun. Okay. Noun and verb you will use for all this framing all these sentences. A noun is a naming word that is used for person, place, thing or idea. Okay. Some examples of noun are Ali, Delhi, football, music. All these are what? Places, persons or things or ideas, right? A verb is a doing word or the action that tells us what the noun does. Some examples of the word are play, like, eat and write. All these are what? Actions. So this comes under verb. Note that some verbs with an ing ending can also act as a noun. Swimming is an example. We can talk about likes and dislikes using nouns as well as verbs. that ends with ing. For example, cycling, swimming, right? Represents that talking about oneself, read aloud. So let's see. Talking about yourself. So in this chart you can see name. I am Harshit Sethi. I am in high school. I am 15 years old. I am in Agra. Row column wise you have to see. Next, my name is Anu. I am a student. I am 16 and a half years old. So these are the different ways of introducing yourself. I am Lucy Peter. I play cricket. I am 9. I am from Goa. My name is Ali. I practice karate. I will be 17 soon. I am from Patna. Like this, you can, in a different ways, you can tell your name, your age, your hometown, your likes and dislikes, strength, weakness. All these things you can mention in your introduction. Okay. Filling a form. Now, this is all we talked about orally if you are introducing yourself. Now, let's talk about if you are filling any form. You are writing the details of yours on some, kind of form. So, let's see. Sometimes instead of talking, you will have to write about yourself in a form. A form is a typed or printed page with blank spaces for information. Okay. Each form is different, so you should read it properly before filling. Write neatly. Write neatly. Taking care to use the correct spelling. Spelling is as pronunciation is very important while you are talking or orally, communicating. In the same way, when you are writing, your spelling is very important, right? So, like this in the form you can fill like this: name, date of birth. In the chart you can see name field, date of birth, address, pin code, signature. All this you enter your name. Sometimes you may need to write the first name, middle name and surname in a separate, after gap. So in this way you will fill a form. Okay, these all things we have done. Then also we are reading as it is part of our syllabus. Okay, example: Harish Shetty was born on 5th December 1990. He lives in Agra in a house named Shuk Niwas. His house number is 13 in Rajanagar. His postal code is this. This you can write in a tabular form, in a form directly you can fill, right? So this is the way to fill the form. Getting okay. This chapter also ends here, and I hope you understood. These all are the basic things you already know. We are just revising, right? In English you have already learned all these things. So on the basis of that, you have to attempt the exercise also. And if you have any problem, I am not telling you right now we are not practicing exercise because these are very easy questions, right? And what is the meaning of if doing or if I will let you do? It's your task, right? If you are if you are reading the chapter, so attempt the exercise. And if you are having any problem, then ask me. I will clear your doubts. Okay. Now next. Session 9, asking questions 1. So these are also very small sessions. So let's do it. Are you sometimes scared of asking too many questions as shown in the figure? I don't know how to solve this problem. Which book should I read? I can't understand whom should I ask. How will I complete this work? So are you sometimes scared of asking too many questions? What happens if you do not ask questions at the right time? Why do we need to ask questions? In this session, you will learn about the importance of asking questions and how to get important information by asking the correct question. Okay? So, let's see. Need for asking questions. Why we ask questions? To clear our doubts, right? If we have any problem, if we have any doubt, then we ask questions. A question is a request or for information as shown in figure. It could be any of type of information such as an answer to a question in a textbook, information about a person or a place, or about how to do a task. Okay, where will I find the answer to question 2? Read the 4th lesson from your English textbook. That is also a question. If you are if anybody will ask you the address or in this way also. Okay, that is also kind of you asking some questions. You already know why I am saying and telling all this. So, asking question helps us gain a new knowledge, get information. If you don't know anything and if you ask questions, we will get the answer, then our knowledge will be increased, right? Make sure that what we know is correct. Avoid doubts, confusion means misunderstanding, right? And start talking to people by asking about them and their ideas. Okay, so these are the what asking questions help us in this way. How to make sure we have complete information? If you do not have information about how to reach a place, you will not be able to reach it, right? If you do not know how to do some work, you will not be able to complete it unless you ask questions and get information. Asking all the correct questions at the right time is also important. You can also follow the simple method of 5W plus 1H as shown in this tabular format. Let's see, to make sure that you have all the information you will need to particular work, for a particular work. So what is this 5W plus 1H method? 5W, see, 5W, who, where, when, what, why, right? And 1H is how. So who is used to ask about people, where is used to ask about a place, when is used to ask about time, what is used to ask about a thing or an idea or an action, why is used to find the reason, and how is used to find a method. So these are the ways, 5W plus 1H asking questions. So examples are, who is the new student in the class? You are asking about a person or people. Where does she live? You are asking about a place. When did she join a school? You are asking about the time. So like this you have to see. Remember this 5W plus 1H method for asking questions, right? This is very important. So here ends this session also, this chapter also. So attempt exercise of this session also, this chapter. Now next, the last chapter after this, that is you will enjoy doing all these exercises. These are fun kind of thing, right? You will enjoy asking questions too. Now, a question is a sentence, phrase or word that is either asked for information or is used to test someone's knowledge. We always use a question mark at the end of the question, right? We already know whenever we ask questions, we put question mark. In our day-to-day interaction with others, we often have to ask and answer questions to get information. Asking the correct questions can help us get the information we want, as shown. Okay? Questions, information. Now, types of question. There are two basic types of question, close-ended and open-ended. What is this? Close-ended and open-ended? Questions that can be asked. Question that can be asked with a yes or no are called close-ended questions. Right? Question that can be asked with a yes or a no are called close-ended questions. That is because the answers options are limited or closed. Because the person who you are asking a question and the person who is replying, like the questions, for example, let me tell you, do you know him? So you will reply yes or no. So that is close-ended question, right? Because we have limited, the answer is in limit, yes or no, limited, closed, right? For example, when we ask, do you have a TV at home? You will say yes or no. The answer could be yes or no, right? Sometimes when we ask a question, we expect an answer with more details, right? For example, when we ask, what do you like to watch on TV? The answer could be, I like to watch movies on TV. These are called open-ended questions, right? Because their answer options are not limited or closed. In this case, the person could have also said sports, news, or anything else. Okay. Other than yes or no will come in open-ended questions, right? As simple. Now, framing or forming questions. How to frame a question or form a question? Let's see. Framing close-ended question. We can form close-ended question by adding helping verbs. Helping verbs like be, do, have. These convey additional information such as time and mood. Besides this, there are other auxiliary verbs called the modal verbs such as can, shall, may, should, could, which shows possibility or necessity. One method of framing close-ended question is to take a sentence without the above word and place such words before the subject. For example, I like it can be changed into a close-ended question by adding the word do before the word I. This creates the close-ended question. Do I like it? Did this all allowed? Let's see. So, sentence, they talk on the phone every day, right? So, you can convert it close-ended question like this after adding helping verb. Do they talk on the phone every day? You share your lunch with your friends. Could you share your lunch with your friends? Like this, you can change it in close-ended questions, right? So, please note, the helping verbs changes based on the subject, but the main verb remains unchanged. For example, in the sentences and questions below, the main verb cook remains unchanged, but the auxiliary verb do changes based on the subject. Read aloud, right? Like this, you can see in these below questions. I cook dinner. Do I cook dinner? She can cook dinner. Can she cook dinner? They cook dinner. Do they cook dinner? Like this, you can change, right? Sentences, and you can change it to, helping, using the helping verbs. Now, framing close-ended questions. Framing close-ended questions. In some cases, we exchange the position of the subject and verb to create a close-ended questions. We can follow a similar method for the sentence that already have auxiliary verbs. As we can see in this close-ended questions, subject verb exchange. You can exchange the subject verb. You can change the subject verb in this. He's there. Is he there? They were cleaning their room. Were they cleaning their room? You can help me. Can you help me? Like this, you can change the verb and subject, and it will change into the close-ended questions, right? Now, framing open-ended questions using question words. Some questions are called open-ended questions. Their answers are not limited or closed in like that of in yes or no, right? They have to be answered with more information than just a yes or no. We can form open-ended question by using the questions words such as what, why, who, how, when, where. Like we will use such words if we want to create a open-ended questions, right? So, what did you do? I went to the park. Why did you go there? I went to meet my friend. How did you go? I cycled. Like this is open-ended question and answer, right? So the answer is not limited in the yes or no, so that's why open-ended. So here ends the session of this last, end of this last session. So right now we have completed Unit 1 communication skill of Part A. The exercises approach of all the questions in the exercises, attempt all the questions in the exercise, and if you have any kind of doubt, then ask me, right? That's it for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.